Sakanovic and Ryan Hansford and Tony Karamfalowski starting out of the 5th row here for race number 2.
Garwood with good track position in car 85. He's been really fast. Car 95, his teammate really struggling for speed in that race earlier today, and they will have made some changes to the Camaro to get it further up the order. He needs big points to try and get himself to 3rd in the championship. There'll be a bunch of drivers trying to work their way forward. I think Jeremy Gray's got solid pace in that Capri. He goes from 11th. And watch out for Ben Dunn in the Chevy Monza. Well, there's weather around the Dandenong region, southeastern suburbs of this great city. This is how the championship runs. So very quickly, the maths, it's pretty simple. If John Bowe wins, it'll be win number 99, not out. But if he wins, Stephen Johnson needs to be 6th. And then the championship cannot go any other way than his in tomorrow's final race. That's the situation. It's really simple.
If there wasn't enough tension with the championship, throw in the fact that there's some drizzle in the area. But we swap around the front row for race number 2, 10 laps around Sandown, the historical Sandown with some historical surnames to take the green here in race number 2. They jump on the loud pedal, we get underway, and the charge to turn number 1 is 4 wide for the minor positions. It'll be Bowe that leads us through turn number 1 with Johnson on the outside. You've got Garwood skating up on the curve. That was Bressington, I should say, in the first of the White Line Racing cars. But Bowe leads us through the first sequence of turns. And a very busy boy is Ryan Hansford right now.
Hansford's gone from 8th to 4th. What a start from the multi-spares Tirana. Came from nowhere down the inside, just sort of forced the issue. Got both of the White Line Racing Camaros, jumped a bunch of spots. Very nice. The Queenslander charges his way forward. Bressington loses out of that. And so does Adam Garwood. This is busy behind. Andrew Fisher's in there, Jeremy Gray in the Capri, 3 wide to turn 6 at 255 k's an hour. And they all come out the other side.
I know the runoff area's been wide, but you still get nervous looking at that shot when they are 2 and 3 wide. Down underneath the Penrite Bridge we go to complete the first lap. So the first 3, like we saw in the first race today, put a margin on Bressington. Hansford, mover and shaker in this race. Garwood is next, then Harris, Policina and Sakanovic. Harris side by side with Policina. And here comes the Z-Man. He'll get 2 for the price of 1 here.
That's a big whack, big contact to the Mocom Communications Tirana. Policina's in a battle with Aaron Seaton for the Pro-Am, the Class Championship. He's got damage to the rear axle of that car. Follow that process. Interesting to see how that all unfolded down there. It was a little bit feisty at times. Hansford dropped spots now to the White Line Racing entries. Bressington in front, Garwood next. We're on board with Ryan. He's got the job to do. We'll ride on board with the 5-litre Tirana up the back straight.
It's got the Marcus Ambrose style gear lever as he grabs another gear in the Tirana and sets for turn number 6. Just takes it nice and easy across the top, corrects the wheel a couple of times across the curb on the right-hand side. And into Dandenong Road corner while he watches the battle between the White Line teammates just ahead here. Oop.
It's a feisty little battle, wide on the exit, Dandenong Road. And this is Adam Garwood putting the pressure on his teammate. Spoke to the 2 Adams together yesterday and said we're very keen to not give the team boss, Bob Middleton, former racer, who's actually driven the 85 car at a point earlier this season. They were very keen to not give him any more grey hairs.
And this is the old school shot. I missed this one up in the grandstand.
Yeah, crowd in front. Best place to be at Sandown today, up out of the elements in that big covered 10,000 seat grandstand. And there's the pass, nicely done. Garwood down the inside. There'll be an over-under opportunity here, but the young Tassie boy has the correct racing line into turn 2 and 3 and grabs the spot. The problem now for Adam Garwood is that Aaron Seaton is quite a long way, to the tune of 3.7 seconds up the road in 3rd place. In fact, it could be 2nd. He's right on here with Stephen Johnson.
And sweeps across to take that spot away from him. Impressive how these first 3 have got such a big margin on the rest of the field already. But now Garwood with fresh air might just be able to close that gap. We've also seen Bernie Stack, veteran Bernie Stack, behind the wheel of that 85 earlier this season. Down towards the final sequence of turns. We'll take a look at the replay at the start, though. And it was all about watching Ryan Hansford in the middle of this shot, trying to make some room here to open up. And whenever he braked, he just said, I'll go down the inside and take a couple of positions. Look cooler from the in-car.
Yeah, so this is the shot threading the eye of the needle. Harris, there's Garwood. Policina in front. He goes, right, now I'll get behind Aaron Seaton in that orange Mustang in front. Commit to the inside line. Oh, just avoids getting cleaned up by Jim Policina. That was enormous. And manages to squeeze through. Wow.
That's when we joined the in-car camera. I thought he was busy. That was the mild part of it. Replay from Adam Garwood's perspective.
Adam didn't spend an awful lot of time in that first part of the lap steering in the direction of the racing surface, did he? It was all opposite lot. How cool. These are cool cars, aren't they?
I just love the commitment on the first lap from Cole Tyres, as we saw this replay too of Harris side by side with Sakanovic, and they've had some contact of both. Oh, in fact, Harris has got the wall, and it's poured out the safety car in the process. Is it my eyes, or is he missing the rear passenger side window, Sakanovic? You might see when it spins around here. So a bit of glass missing. Yes, there is. And, the EFS Camaro, one in, one out for car 58.
Gee, that was quite big contact with the Armco there. So this on board from Hansford. He's just dropped back through the field. So they're wheel-to-wheel afterwards. I'm not sure how to call that. That's a really strange incident. They just got into each other and it drove them both across the racetrack. Harris being on driver's left, ultimately forced off the road and into the Armco. Quite a lot of damage to the EFS Chevy Camaro. So now, very much out of contention for the championship, but he's going to throw a bunch of points away to Adam Bressington as well.
I think Sakanovic gave him enough room there. It was the exit of the curb. We'll look at the replay soon of how that all folded down at Dandenong Road corner. So he slowed the field up with John Bowe, Seaton second. Behind them is Johnson, Garwood, Bressington, Hansford, Fisher, Mason, Policina, and Tony Karafalowski. So we wait for recovery team to pull away. The EFS Camaro, how quickly it can change. Here it is from the turn 6 camera. So the XD Falcon on the right-hand side. Hard to tell from this angle, though.
Well, the move was on, very much alongside. So it was just as Sakanovic got out of the corner, it was almost like he got oversteer, maybe some of that exit curb. This shot will show it better. That's a textbook pass down the inside. Sakanovic saw him coming, gave him room. There was a car width on the inside. Here they are. I think it was the painted curb. I think the white line, the XD Falcon gets up on the curb, starts to slide, out of control, and unfortunately with Harris on the inside, had absolutely nowhere to go, was crashed into and put a fairly sizable Camaro-shaped indent into the Armco barrier there. Great work by the recovery teams here at Sandown too, by the way. They're pretty adept at recovering vehicles quickly, and they've got that car out of the way, so we'll still go a few more laps of racing to end this one. What this also does is bring Adam Garwood into the mix. Mentioned before, he was 3.7 seconds behind Johnson and Seaton, who were fighting for second and third place. But this brings the White Line Racing car into the game. It closes him right back up. It's like a free kick. And it's going to be very, very interesting when we go back to green.
So this is how the new corner looks after the upgrades, and this is how it looked 12 months ago. Marcus Sakanovic, in only the second race of the XD Falcon, clouted the walls enough to put this car out of business for the weekend. That was in the Saturday afternoon race in 2018. And looking at that now, you can see how much of a difference that has made, because literally less than a second, he was off the fence, off the track into the fence there.
And the philosophy is, Matt, that that new extra long concrete runoff area, bitumen runoff area, will stop that kind of crash especially, and potentially this one as well. Now, Jason Gomersal, this is 2 years ago, was going a lot quicker than Sakanovic was at the time, but that extra runoff gives the car an opportunity to slow down, use the friction of the road, possibly the brakes to slow it down rather than just crashing into the tyres straight away.
You can see the amount of cars. That was Mason going through the shot there too, that would take to the grass and create like a train track effect. When that got wet, it was lethal over there. But that's the upgrades that have happened since we were last here in 2018.
So you can see the extra amount of room there on the left of that shot where the cars have got an opportunity to wash off speed, and that's the whole concept. And it does look like that fence, and it is at a much more acute angle, so you're actually heading straight towards it rather than an angle. But the philosophy is that the extra runoff means that ideally, if you go as far as getting to that fence, you'll be going a lot slower by the time you get to it, and it'll make it a smaller crash. This is where we saw the incident yesterday in the Toyota 86 Racing Series, contact down into the older Armco barriers. And that's part of what it used to look like on that run up at turn 6 and 7.
And just behind that is Dandenong Road, so there's not much room to put any more runoff with the concrete barriers that have been used here for the past 20-odd years with the Formula One Grand Prix. And those walls date back to the Adelaide days that have used to line the circuit here. So we continue to follow the Vodafone safety car here. John Bow, Seaton, Johnson, the top three in race 2 of this weekend's penultimate round, the Paynter-Dixon Touring Car Masters.
So just to recap the way they're running, Johnson would be unbeatable for the championship. The margin would be 71 points, and that's including dropping their worst race of the season, as they're required to do. And there's 60 points for a race win. So with one race to go after this one, the math says it would be an 11-point advantage tomorrow, even if Stevie J failed to finish the final race. But there's still some question marks because, as I said, Garwood is fast, and Steve will be pretty conservative if he needs to be, just to make sure that he can bring that car home straight and get the championship. Remember, we touched on the maths at the start. 6th position is what he'll have circled in the back of his mind about getting to the finish. And if he's 6th, he can't be beaten for the championship.
What an impressive 3 seasons it's been for Stephen Johnson. He came into sub for John Bow at Symmons Plains in that car a few seasons back, while Bow was off at a Dunlop conference, of all things, and then found himself full-time in the series. Team Johnson debuted a couple of years back and has gone back-to-back in the Touring Car Masters series. You're just observing this wall on the left-hand side because it's taken a fair bit of a hit, or as you like to call it, the Camaro imprint on the guardrail on the exit of turn 9 before the Penrite Bridge. And this is the reason why we're behind the safety car. The move between Harris and Sukanovic on the exit of 9, got up on the curb. The two like magnets with each other, and the Camaro went in hard. On the left-hand side, right in front of our marshalling point down there. Sukanovic did get away.
And it's been so wet over the last 24 hours, but prior to that, the ground's very soft. So it's not going to take much to move those pillars that are supporting the arm coat. Watch it give as it does its job and absorbs the impact. Just drags the car in there.
It's even damaged the right-hand side of that car as well, the impact of it. So we continue behind the back of the Vodafone safety car going past the pits. We'll head there with Andy Jones.
Yeah, I ran to the pit entry end of the pit lane because once they got Ryle out of the fence in that EFS entry, he actually drove the car back to the paddock area, came in the pit entry. A lot of damage to that left front wheel. It was towing in massively. Suggests that there's a broken top or bottom ball joint in that car or upright point. So a huge amount of damage. Why would he have dragged that thing back with that amount of damage? So that they can get to work and get that thing fixed up as quickly as they possibly can tonight.
Andy Jones down in the pits on a very cold day here while the cars are trying to put heat into these Hoosier tyres. Hard to believe. It's 12 degrees here at the moment, while the rest of the country is sweltering today, with some capital cities in the high 30s today. It's one of those classic Melbourne days while they continue to work on the wall down there at turn 9.
So the safety teams, because that's race control, so they're confirming the checkered flag will be shown next time by. We should explain that with the Armco barriers, to do their job, they need to be in a straight line. So that's already taken that impact. They need to straighten it up. You can see the recovery team there doing it, but that's going to take some time. So it means we're not going to go back to green flag racing. The race will be finished at this race. They'll get enough laps in to make it count for championship points. 7 of the 10 will be just enough. So John Bow going into Sunday will be on 99 wins, not out, in Touring Car Masters, looking to bring up the century, hoping he doesn't do a Michael Slater and get bowled on 99. And this will mean that Stephen Johnson will not be able to be beaten for the Paynter-Dixon Touring Car Masters Championship. And barring any points, penalties or anything that may occur tomorrow, he'll be a back-to-back champion.
Well deserved. He's been a class act since we rolled out of the trailers at Adelaide this year. Cam Mason, the big mover in this race, he made up 10 positions before the safety car came out. He runs in 8th ahead of Polostina and Tony Kamfalowski. But this guy can head to Newcastle with an asterisk next to him still as a 3-time champion.
So the repairs ongoing to the barriers. I'll get that right for the resumption of racing a little bit later on. So John Bow's going to get the win. 99. What a remarkable strike rate, and hadn't had a win in the first 5 rounds of the year. Broke through at Sydney Motorsport Park, and now they're starting to flow. Can he get the ton tomorrow.
Oh, it's a nervous time. He'll go to bed and won't sleep tonight, will JB. It's an incredible career. He'll chalk up the win behind the safety car here today. The second race affected by the safety car at this round alone. Checker flag will wave on him. Seaton will get second. Johnson third. Garwood and Bressington will be your top 5 here today with one race still to go. Oh boy, it's a nervous night coming ahead for John Bowe. He picks up the win and continues his domination. He's only a couple of race wins now behind Jim Richards when it comes to Sandown wins as well. Behind them was Hansford, Fisher, Mason, the big mover of 10 spots in that race, and Policina and Karafalowski finishing in 9th and 10th position.
And just to confirm, Stephen Johnson now provisionally the champion going into the final race of the year tomorrow. Great racing. Looking forward to seeing what Adam Garwood can do tomorrow. He's got great car speed. Zakanovic